There it is, 2000. A milestone moment for a Pittsburgh icon.
Malkin busts it off, right in front. Another chance, backhand score! It's Brian Rust with the goal. Rarefied air to Hall of Fame career, 1,200 points for Evgeny Malkin.
Pickett lines up a deep ball, separation, touchdown, George Pickens!
Welcome to our live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studios, right here in the Municipal Building in Bethel Park. All of you in Bethel Park know that, and the rest of you, 5100 West Library Avenue. You know Bethel Park. We're also live on Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook, and we're on Comcast 21 in Bethel Park. I had to boost that up so I could remember the Comcast 21 only in Bethel Park.
Well, you should have had 7 times 3.
Yes, thank you very much. And yeah, we won't talk about where Smoking Jim was in the city, but a number like that, but we don't know where they are now, but who knows what's going on with them. And we're on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, the greater Pittsburgh area, and all the way from Nemacolin, yes, one of my friends lives there, to Cranberry and Wexford. So thank you for that. I say hi on Facebook Live. My phone won't get the Facebook Live in the studio. I got Nick. Not only does he do cameras, not only does he set it up, not only does he change Jono's painting here, he's working on getting my Facebook up so I can say hi to everybody watching us on Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook.
So this isn't from the glitch, you just have bad internet in here.
Oh, but I signed up to it.
Yeah, like your regular profile's working, but it's not letting
That's
me,
why he's an expert. I salute him. So it's something with my iPhone 14. My Android never gave me problems. I may have to go back. Thank you, Nick, for that.
Here, you can borrow mine.
Just give up on that. That's okay.
Right.
We're not all about the Facebook. We just appreciate all of you.
Here. You can borrow my VIP phone there.
There you
Whoa.
go.
Whoa.
It's a satellite phone.
Whoa. Whoop. I lost it for a second. Doing too many things. I have to make a major announcement. If you've watched our promos, I got a police officer, Officer Crawford. He got a kidney transplant in December, was successful. And I don't know if it was us or anybody from watching our shows, but we've also been promoting Alex Reed. His mother, Bobby's a friend of mine. By the way, she got hacked on Facebook, like I got hacked last week too, but I'm okay. Just had to change my bank account and all my passwords. I'm still working on it since Thursday, but we're good. She's been hacked, but Alex got a kidney. He went into surgery today. He had 5 hours of surgery. He's now in the recovery room, and we're waiting to hear the good news. But they hooked the new kidney up. They just got to make sure it works. I was in there for 9 hours, but I had a problem with my artery in my leg. They cut your stomach. They need a blood source. Everything's okay with that. We just got to get the latest update on him. So it's great news. Thank you so much. Prayers to Alex and his family. It's his second kidney transplant. Here's what's sad, why I'm blessed every day. He had a kidney transplant 10 years ago and it went bad. So you never know. And with anti-remission drugs, which I'm on, people don't understand. I look great, feel great, but my immune system gets destroyed so you don't reject the kidney. That's getting a little geekish, but thanks for all the help. And I hope it was somebody that we could get there, or if not, whoever did it, that's great. Don't forget to like Pittsburgh Sportsline channel on YouTube. And then Paul Haley, Teresa Mariano, and Ralph Williams are watching. Ralph, hello, guys. Hello, Ralph. Thanks for tuning in. Paul Haley's back in South Carolina on Facebook Live. Ann Harder, who nominated me, says, hi, everyone. Mario Tempest, our longtime friend who loved Monday nights, who said his favorite night is Monday nights because of Pittsburgh Sportsline. And Peggy Rohde's watching. Her handsome son's on the camera here, so we'll wait for her to tell me her and Nick are watching from Rochester. So we got all that. Now, Al Levine, the talking machine, Smoking Jim Frazier, Chip Painter's here. Nick VIP, I already shot it out. Thank you again. I'm using the VIP phone. We're going to promos in 10 seconds.
Alan Levine, the Talking Machine, presents Coliseum Combat Zone Pro and Amateur Fights at the All-American Fieldhouse in Monroeville on Saturday, June 29th. Contact Al Levine if you'd like to participate in these fights or if you'd like to receive spectator tickets. A donation to the National Kidney Foundation will be made at all Coliseum Combat Zone events.
Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization.
The Pittsburgh Police present Biscuits Bingo on Saturday, April 6th at Salvador's Event Center. Doors open at 10 a.m. The $60 ticket includes a pasta buffet that opens at 11:30, then 16 regular games and 4 special bingo games, which all begin at 12:30. Bring a pet food item to donate and qualify to play a special bingo game. Use the link below to purchase tickets. Proceeds benefit all these pet-focused organizations.
The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org. Zhang Taekwondo just opened a new location in the South Hills, along with its location in Wexford and its inclusion in the curriculum of Provident Charter School in Troy Hill. Zhang uses Taekwondo to teach its students confidence and self-discipline through physical fitness. Zhang is offering a 4-week special. You get a uniform and lessons for $30. If you mention the Talking Machine, Smoking Jim, or VIP Nick, they'll give you a further discount. For more information, go to zhangtkd.com or call 724-934-9264. Welcome back. Thank you very much for that. Got all that out. Okay, George Malerbo, I worked for 30-some years at the Post-Gazette and Press. Howdy. Aaron Carl's watching. Diane Rohde's watching. Your son's doing great in the control room, Diane. Jane Leffler's watching. And we got to say, what's on your mind? Smoking Jim Frazier, who he got all kind of free gear, because you're going to hear what he's betting on because of his gear. If you look at it, you can guess. If you don't bet, don't start. If you do bet the house on Notre Dame.
Thanks, Elvin, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine. I'm betting a house on North Carolina. I got the North Carolina blue.
Disclaimer, he said it. I thought I could stop him from doing it. He's my best friend. None of us want to know about betting or telling you to bet. He's telling you what he's betting doesn't represent any of us
Chance
here.
does.
It's actually a good recommendation to bet
Take
the
a chance.
opposite.
Take a
Yeah,
chance.
well, wait. Chance is a good young man going to Bethel Park, not Gateway. So he'll be fine. Don't bring him in here. He's the second week on the camera.
So wait.
He's making you look good.
So you're telling me Chance
quiet.
is going to be able to spell his own name?
Hey, Al Levine, the Talking Machine.
Yes, sir.
I'm still all in on the Penguins because they went 0-3 with 6-1 loss. That don't mean
Disclaimer, he's always
they gonna
Mr.
win
Negative.
tonight. They may not beat Washington, but they're going to win tonight.
He's always negative.
Al Levine, the Talking Machine. For the last week, I've been going to the Lost and Found at the Doubletree in Monroeville.
Look what you
Picking
got.
up some good stuff, brother.
Hold it. Did you hear about the Monroeville Convention Center?
No, what happened?
Guess what your mayor did, and guess what the county and state's doing?
We got some white guys with some money in Monroeville.
They
Guess
talked
what?
Hobby Lobby out of Boston.
They got Hobby
Pulling out.
Lobby and Monroeville Convention Center to nix the deal. That means the deal's off. They're open for business from June 1st all the way on.
Well, yeah, but what about the Doubletree Hotel that closed?
They're
4
out of
days ago?
business. They're out of business.
Hey, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, the Steeler draft will be a bust if they don't take my cornerback, Cooper DeJean, white guy from Iowa, 6'1", 210 pounds. In high school, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, he was 25-0 his junior and senior year, back-to-back state champion as a quarterback, 1,800 points in basketball, second in state history, 100-meter dash champ, 24 feet in the long jump, which is top 5 all-time in state history. Al Levine, the Talking Machine. In college, first-team All-American, Jack Tatum, Rod Woodson, Defensive Back of the Year Award, Rogers Dwight, Return Specialist of the Year, Hayden Fry, Extra Heartbeat Award, Reggie Roby, Special Teams Award, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm not predicting he'll be a good pro, all decade. I'm predicting he's going to the Hall of Fame, and it'll be a shame if the Pittsburgh Steelers don't draft Cooper DeJean. And that's what's on my mind. Hall of Famer Al Levine to talk about. Don't turn your back on him.
Smoking Jim, I just want to say you're one of the best entertainers I've ever met. And if there's any shred of truth to that, I don't know. You've only got a couple of them right. And
If you're white, you're all right with me.
hold it. Disclaimer there. This guy, I know you think I'm kidding about the disclaimers. He's a black man saying that. He's not racist. As far as I know, he's my best friend. But we don't agree with him. We don't talk like him. BPTV does not associate with anybody like that. We have to keep him on air.
We have to keep the disclaimer up for people like you.
Yeah, let alone the community here.
Not too late to bet on North Carolina.
Guess what?
Love you, blue.
Smoking Jim, just because you got $20 worth of gear on.
I just like the, you know the beginning of the show where that text is, right, Smoking Jim, where it says the following program, right? Yeah, for people like you, we still have that.
No, Nick,
Still
I
have
got
that
to
here.
interrupt. No disclaimer on you. He is factual. He's never seen it, and he's watched many of our shows. See? He's an honest man now. All right, Stephanie Hayner's watching. Steph, thanks for that Christmas mix. It was wonderful. Peggy Rohde, hi to everyone. Enjoying the show as always. Great crew. Nick and Peggy, warm and sunny in Rochester. Well, it's a little dark here with clouds right now. It started to rain a little before we started.
It's a little dark.
Well, because you're rumbling a bag while I'm trying to talk. We're all mic'd up, and I don't want any issues with that. We're done with Smoking Jim. Chip, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Well, being that I'm only here on a bi-weekly basis, I've got a number of things on my mind that I'm going to touch on. I'll go into more details
Okay.
in my segment later. But condolences.
little tease for later.
Yeah, condolences to the Pittsburgh Pirates with the loss of 1979 World Series member Ed Ott passed away the other
Yeah,
day. Condolences to the Pittsburgh Steelers for the loss of one of the three greatest linebackers that ever played for the Steelers. Andy Russell passed on the
And
29th
what a
of
nice
February.
guy. I met him.
I want to tell you something, and anybody that watched him play, the three best linebacking core that ever played for the Pittsburgh Steelers was Ham, Lambert, and
Chip,
and
I got to
Andy
throw
Russell.
one. I got to throw one thing in there. Remember when he intercepted the ball and he had a caravan of blockers, and it took a minute and 38 seconds to get to the end zone?
Yeah, well,
and he said, "I may not be the fastest."
He was one of the only holdovers from the '60 Steelers when Chuck Noll took
How
control
rare
of the
is
team.
that? That's a
And he
rare-
told everybody on that team, "Don't worry, you guys. You won't be playing for me next year." And Andy Russell was the one that helped build the foundation for the Steel Curtain, won the
What a great
first two
leader.
Super Bowls. And next, on a national note, Chris Mortensen from ESPN
Yeah.
succumbed to throat cancer.
had battled
may
it
his
for
rest
years.
He was battling it, I believe, for 9 years. He was diagnosed in 2015, but he was an integral part of the NFL on ESPN, along with Chris Berman.
Let me interrupt you with Nick here. He truly was an insider, and he said it on air.
Well,
he wasn't afraid to say it.
Well, and I will probably irk some people by saying this. He had more integrity in his pinky finger than a lot of the people that we see in the media these days.
Whoa.
But that being said, next up,
Well, that's Chip's personal opinion.
that's just, and all I ever do is give my humble opinion. Well, you can agree with it or disagree with it. You're entitled to. Next up is, we've eviscerated the Pittsburgh Steelers ownership.
You better explain that to
Yeah, well,
Smoking.
that-
I don't
that-
have my Funkin'
That was a
address.
75-cent word for him.
No,
We've
$1.25,
eviscerated the Pirate
'cause-
ownership for the way that they've managed the team. But now, we've got a Pittsburgh Penguins team that has done nothing but go to the playoffs. They went to the playoffs 16 years in a row. And in the NHL, 16 of the 30 teams make it to the playoffs. And since the Fenway Sports Group has taken over the Pittsburgh Penguins, they have run that bus right off the cliff. And for the second year in a row, it looks like the Penguins are not going to make the playoffs. And I don't foresee them being able to be playoff contenders anytime soon. Why are we accepting what the Fenway Sports Group is doing with the Pittsburgh Penguins when it's not okay for the Rooneys that have owned the Steelers for almost 90 years to do business the way they do, or Bob Nutting for running the Pittsburgh Pirates the way he does? Just
Whoa.
My thought. And then last but not least, one of the biggest moments in college sports happened just recently. A young lady from Iowa, Caitlin Clark,
Oh, you stole my thunder.
had passed the all-time scoring record.
Oh.
But great for her that she passed Pete Maravich's
Pistol
all-time
Pete.
scoring record. But I will go out on a limb and say that Pistol Pete Maravich was the greatest college basketball scorer that I ever witnessed or will ever witness. And here's the measuring stick. Caitlin Clark has played 131 games, and she broke his record. Pete Maravich played 93 games.
Yeah.
And as
he
a
did it
freshman, you were not allowed to play in Division I
Shout
basketball.
out to my son Drew.
Well-
He goes, why wasn't Pete starting as a freshman? I said they weren't allowed.
Lou Alcindor didn't start for UCLA
And look what he
until
did in
his
3
sophomore year. He won 3 Player of the Year awards. You couldn't win 4 because you couldn't play as a freshman. So I still say Pete Maravich, in my eyes, not to disparage what this young lady has done. What she has done
I'll
is
fill in some
incredible.
more on that,
Is
yeah.
still the greatest scorer in NCAA history. My thoughts on that.
I got to bring some history. You can check the film. Chip is known for somebody broke Hank Aaron's home run record, and he still calls Hank Aaron the home run king.
Correct.
Even though baseball owners let him take Clear, which was steroids.
Well, what's
from
more disrespectful,
Balco.
cheating the game?
No, he believes cheating. You're not trying.
No.
Yeah, so he's in another category.
from Gateway.
But Chip is consistent. So's the man from Gateway. All right, thanks, Chip. All right, let's go to Nick Callis. What's on your mind? And you're looking good in the Steeler gear. We talked about it before show. How long ago is it since you've had that on? We're talking over a year.
I usually wear it in casual settings. The one time I showed up,
Hold it, this is formal.
if you remember years ago, I hung the Steelers banner and I said they're going to win the Super Bowl because they beat the Bills in the first. Like I was being sarcastic, just kind of
He learned sarcasm.
going with the wave of Steelers fandom, which is actually what I want to talk about tonight. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're going to win the Super Bowl next season. But I am going to say, in one regard, I want to put them in the opinion segment again. Because there's so much going on, but then again, it's there are so many reports that we have out there now about who's going to be the quarterback that it's getting kind of ridiculous. We can't follow what's going on because there's no physical trail to get you anywhere. Now we talked about Russell Wilson last week because he got thrown in. I still don't think he should be a part of the team, so I don't know what you're celebrating about over there.
Just the name.
I'm leaning toward more Justin Fields, and Big Mike was on last week and we talked about that, so you know how I feel. But now
He's
it's kind of
watching you. He wants to speak.
now the tide has turned back from Russell Wilson to Justin Fields because the odds are changing with Atlanta because now apparently Kirk Cousins is trying to move out of Minnesota and everything's nuts. So if you want my genuine what's on my mind here,
Yes.
relax with following the QB news for a month. Just let it kind of flow. And let's just approach the draft in calmness because nobody knows what's going on really. I mean, it's one of the hottest topics too. I mean, at the Fan, there's so many people who are complaining why are you always talking about the quarterbacks? But then every time we talk about the quarterbacks, people call and interact and have opinions, and I can't handle it myself, and I get frustrated even talking about it because I don't know how it's so popular when nobody knows. There's nothing that's indicating anything about this quarterback situation. So. What's on my mind is that I'm going to get the Steelers quarterback situation off of my mind. I've said it, Justin Fields.
There you go.
Justin Fields, that's who I vote for. I don't vote for Russell Wilson, but don't follow the rumors too heavily because at this point, nobody actually really knows what in the world's going on. And then one more thing, baseball related. Chip talking about history and basketball and stuff. I read a post today on social media that said something like, it was a sarcastic post, and I figured that out.
No.
It was about Nolan Ryan.
Thanks at pointing out for me. I appreciate that.
And it was man, we really got to teach these kids how to be careful. Nolan Ryan only threw out his arm when he no-hit the Toronto Blue Jays for his 7th career no-hitter at the age of 44. And
Great point.
Just something I want to bring up because this is something that I deal with personally. Nolan Ryan set such a standard for baseball and longevity and like stamina and like throwing hard in his time that kind of like when Babe Ruth had a bunch of home runs and you got pitchers coming in trying to throw like as hard as they possibly can over time. Nolan Ryan kind of set that standard as he played through his career because he played for so long that so many other people wanted to try to replicate what he could do. And all I'm going to say is that Nolan Ryan is a special breed, and young players, while you shouldn't overcare for their arms, you definitely should, especially like 12, 13, 14, like youth baseball, really like regulate how they work out and heal their arms, because if you can hear this, that's from me not taking care of my arm and throwing too much.
Listen to this. There's nothing.
So I always
here's
like
the curveball.
Point though. I always like to point that out though, because like my arms like crack still from that. So if you're reading posts about that Nolan Ryan against special breed,
heard it.
And again, like adult men can maybe have a little more tolerance because their bodies are more developed. If you don't take care of youth players' arms, you might turn into me, and I can barely throw like anything anymore because. Yeah, there's just a tendon in there that's like popping. So that's what's on my mind.
Tennis elbow. Well,
After you're done, I'd like to.
I wanted to bring up that we weren't allowed to pitch or throw when it was under 50 degrees in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what else? You know this motion, the curveball?
Mm-hmm.
We weren't allowed to throw that in Little League.
No, we weren't either.
Okay, but why were kids doing it and getting away with it?
Bad coaching.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. When you have the good coaches, they protect us. I became a good pitcher, and I couldn't do that and break these rules. Matter of fact, first year in Pony League, they only let me throw my fastball.
That's what I was going to say. When I was young and taught to play the game of baseball, my father was a coach. We weren't allowed to throw junk. We weren't allowed to throw junk. They wanted you to develop the muscles in your arm to throw your fastball.
So you're saying we agree here that kids should protect
Yes.
their arm?
No,
I 100% I agree with you.
No, we're backing you.
I
Cool.
100%. And you know what? And one last thing I want to
what we're
mention.
doing.
You know, you brought up Nolan Ryan, and that's a great icon to bring up. But I think back to way before you were born, when Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver were both on the same pitching staff in 1968 for the New York Mets.
Yeah.
And if you watch vintage footage of those two pitching, if you want to see perfect pitching mechanics, watch Tom Seaver pitch, watch Nolan Ryan, and that is why those pitchers had such longevity, and they almost never had any arm problems. Most of the power that they used to throw their pitches came from their hips and their thighs.
Yeah,
Okay.
their legs were strong.
Yes, he
Seaver
did.
Tom Seaver had Earl Campbell-like legs.
And Nolan Ryan had tree trunks.
Yeah.
And you know who else was like it? Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
And Garrett Cole, same
Right.
thing.
No, there's no doubt about it. And we were agreeing with you. One of the best things we've ever seen on Pittsburgh Sportsline was the tendons cracking. Like mine don't. Go
No.
do yours one more time.
How about let's quit babying these kids?
That's what I wanted to hear. That's
Quit babying these kids, man.
All right.
You even flinched at that sound.
Well, he's never been injured in his life except he had a career-ending injury that kept him from being in the pros.
And that was from chasing a cheerleader.
Yeah. Well, my friend turned out to be a power lifter, but I saw his grade school and high school pictures. He looked like Urkel, and he ran fast because they were calling him Urkel. Chief is watching Chuck McElroy.
Well,
How about this? Two of my long-time friends from the Post-Gazette and Press, Chief, who's friends with Ann Harder, who knew that, Bob Beers. We used to talk, I called him RB, he called me AL. We talk sports all day long, so he's getting to hear this. He's probably going, look, Al's still talking about the same stuff 30 years later. So that happens. What's on my mind?
E = MC squared.
Yeah.
That's for you, Drew.
My hair's getting cut next week. I had the E = MC squared. I went out to eat the other day, and somebody goes, that's a great T-shirt. Where'd you get it? I go, my co-host was busting my chops, and he got it for me, and it's a compliment. He just said, Al, that's the best compliment I could give you, so Chip, I salute you. Just think of Pistol Pete Maravich. His dad, what a beast, taught his son to play basketball like that.
From Aliquippa.
Yeah, my dad knew him personally, saw Pete growing up, young Pistol. He would even talk about talking to Prez Maravich, that what a good guy he was. Pistol Pete was related to one of the girls I went to school with in Braintree, Christine Cornelius. So how about that for a name? That was her cousin. So it was a great connection to know that and see him play. I met him once. Some game somewhere. I remember my dad was refereeing. You talk about an athlete that worked very hard and perfected his game. He averaged over 44 points for his career of 3 years. He was a great basketball player, one of the best you'll see. He could pass whatever no-look pass was there. He did even more than that. Whatever shot he had to make, he'd make it. If there were 3-point shots, I swear that he would make 70 points a game.
He would have scored 5,000 points.
Yeah.
In 3 years.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Now, Caitlin Clark, for being a woman, I give her all an extra credit. She's
Mad
worked
props.
hard to get past the half court and throw the 3-ball and be successful.
She's awesome.
I mean, most women don't have the upper body strength. No, I'm not being disrespectful. And men want to talk about how tough they are. I tell them women are the stronger sex.
No
Just
doubt.
go through 1 month with what women go through except for smoking Jim. They wouldn't make it.
Try giving birth.
Yeah, no, you couldn't make it.
I thought a lot of women went through smoking Jim.
No. This is a family-friendly show. They're just friends with them on Facebook. They can't help it if they don't have many clothes on, Nick. That just means it's a picture.
As you break
So,
down the wind
Yeah,
resistance.
his theory in life is once he met me about pictures, he heard of Hugh Hefner, so he puts up pictures that they had semi-covered on Playboy. And people love them like that, so we went a little off subject on what's on my mind.
We go off the rails
Yeah,
relatively
but
easily.
I'm bringing it back. I salute Caitlin Clark there on everything she's done. And here's the other thing about great players. You were talking Nolan Ryan, Pete Maravich. They made other players better, and they made coaches look good. My dad looking down and my uncle were basketball players. My dad said, every good coach has to have good horses. That's how they win. So if we keep it simple like I do, Nick, those opinions on the Steelers and all that, I don't even worry about the draft because I'm not a billionaire owner. Whatever they put out there, I'll talk about it.
Sure.
No, you should totally focus on the
He wasn't
draft.
talking about Pete Rose when he said,
Yeah, I understand. But yeah, they can focus on the draft. Personally, I don't really follow the draft.
You should focus on the draft, but all the QB rumors surrounding the Steelers.
Well,
that's really what I'm getting
No,
at.
you're allowed to have that. My thing is, why don't you do something important? Go help somebody out. Go donate some money and forget about the Steelers while it's the off season.
But you want to know something? All the rumors that I've heard about the Steelers and the quarterback thing, and just to put it to rest, were created by the media, and none of it's really been created by the football people.
That's a good point. And look at Art Rooney Sr. made a couple comments. I don't really believe him.
I actually have
He made a couple comments, and you can go back and look at him and hear him, but I don't believe him.
I think
There's no urgency.
the Steelers, I have a dark horse rumor in the back of my head
Whoa.
that
Can you talk about it?
that says that the Steelers are intentionally trying to throw off those who cover the team, more on a national perspective, not us local people, right? Because we're great, but they're trying to throw a bunch of sense everywhere. Like Omar Khan's like, "Yep, we're going to focus on Kenny Pickett," and then Mike Tomlin's like, "Oh, well, we got options, and there'll be a battle," and then all these reports come out about quarterbacks. So I think the team actually might be trying to throw everybody off.
Tomlin's a smart guy, but he likes deflecting any type of blame and stuff like that.
Right, but
the national media loves him, so whatever he says, he knows what's going to happen. I agree with
Yeah,
you.
but you said-
I'm agreeing again with you.
I know, but you said the team is not trying to start this, but they're actually
He represents the team,
right. So
we
trying
can
to stir 'em.
we can
At
dissect
some
it.
point, we'll find. No matter how much we talk about it or speculate or whatever, we're going to find out when they want us to find out, and no sooner.
Well, here I can settle it tonight. Smoking Jim.
Right?
This is serious. What quarterback would you bet on being our starting quarterback this year?
Russell Wilson.
Okay. Do
He
the
got a beautiful
opposite.
wife.
Everybody, including Tomlin, do the opposite of Smoking Jim. You heard it from an NFL scout. I wanted to get it out there.
What's the opposite of Russell Wilson?
We don't know. It's not Kenny Pickett.
That would be a huge mistake. He's washed up. He's done.
No, he only threw 26 touchdowns last year.
I know that's
Yeah.
it. He
How many
could have
games
done
did he
more.
win?
Hold it.
Whoa.
Hold it. Smoking Jim, how
Wait a minute.
disrespectful of Kenny Pickett are you? He only threw 13 in 24 games.
Yeah.
But he threw 13 interceptions.
How many games did
Go
he win?
Steelers. Caitlin Clark is the best in basketball now. And guess what? She did something you guys didn't think she would do. She said, no NIL. I'm going to the WNBA. I don't care if 10 people watch it. Wow. She's going in.
She'll get endorsements there too.
She already lined them up.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
She'll get us a sneaker contract that'll be worth
Oh, she lined those up.
$500 million.
I saw the 4 different things or 5 different people
Yeah.
she's lined up with. I salute her. She's smart, beautiful, and a great basketball player. Now, we got to go to, I can't even believe it after what he's done and how he's dressed. Fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. Especially Hugh Hefner there. Threw the Hugh Hefner on him.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Hey, you know the best thing that ever happened to Pistol Pete Maravich? Getting out of Aliquippa. Y'all know I don't like
There you go.
Hey,
Hold
listen.
it. But wasn't he another great athlete from Aliquippa?
No, he was great after he got out of Aliquippa. He was young. He was young enough that
Hold it. He was always great.
yeah, and he never came back. Hey, listen, Al Levine, the talking machine. Rest in peace. Anybody that watches wrestling, Virgil,
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike Jones from Wilkinsburg. I had to do my journalism because everybody said he was 61. He was actually 73. He was born in 1950.
51.
Hold it.
1951.
You know what? Mario Tempest goes, what year were you born in?
Yeah, that's a good point. But hey, my Mike Jones story.
No answer, Mario.
My Mike Jones experience is this. What a rotten guy. Listen, I first met him when he was playing semi-pro football. This guy used to wear tassels on his socks. He was like 6'4", built like Arnold Schwarzenegger, played free safety. He would destroy the receivers whether the ball was in the air or not. He was one of the most hated guys. After that game, I go in the locker room because my idol, Lou Biondi from Lou Biondi's Lincoln Mercury, was playing on the team. My cousin, who was Eastern Judo champ, Dwayne Rideout, getting ready to play for the Seattle Seahawks.
There's a name,
We're talking
Dwayne.
to Biondi. All of a sudden, Mike Jones out of nowhere, you ain't blankety blank making the Seattle Seahawks, blah, blah, blah. So it was almost a fight. I wanted to see that fight. But this guy was so rotten that he would go to nightclubs, and if you're talking to a girl, he just walked right in between you and your girlfriend. Girls loved him because he was built. I mean, he was built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But there was a guy who was a friend of mine named Charlie Harper, built just like Mike Jones. Them guys was built like Arnold from the waist up, because you know black guys don't do legs. And
Disclaimer, we have no proof of that.
you ever seen her calves?
Show your calf on the TV.
But
Show your calf.
a couple of times.
Disclaimer on that.
A couple of times, Charlie Harper got guns pointed at him because they thought he was Mike Jones. You know what I mean? They was going to blow his head off. And I said, Charlie, you got to change your image. Mike Jones, no matter where he went, if it was the nightclub where you couldn't wear a hat, he got in. If it was a nightclub you couldn't wear tennis shoes, he got in. He was the biggest bully in southwestern Pennsylvania. I told Charlie, wear cowboy boots and wear a cowboy hat. You'll be the opposite of Mike, and that'll stop all trouble. But what happened, Al Levine, the talking machine, when he got picked up from bodybuilding into wrestling, being around those great champions changed him. I tell you what, that chemistry, everything changed. When he came home, he used to cross the street to come see me. Nicest guy, you know, true Hall of Famer if he makes it in wrestling. And I tell you what, this is a guy that totally changed his life around because of all the winners and superstars in that locker room in wrestling. And that's what I said about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They need to change the chemistry of their team if they want to win. Rest in peace, Mike Jones, a guy that turned his whole life around thanks to being around good people.
Great tribute, Smoking Jim. And you got off being negative because you became friends with him.
That's all it takes.
That's a lesson for you. Or buy him a free meal. All right, let's go to Chip Hayner and trivia time in 10 seconds.
All righty, everybody. Just to touch base on one of the eulogies I talked about at the beginning of the show, talk about the kind of player that Andy Russell was. And Andy Russell was drafted onto the Steelers and he played his rookie season in 1963. And he temporarily left the team, which was something that other great athletes did, like Rocky Bleier, and I could make a list of them. But he left for the Army and to fulfill his ROTC commitments from Missouri. He then returned to the Steelers in 1966, where he would spend the next 11 seasons. He was an early member of the Steelers' famed Steel Curtain defense. 7 Pro Bowl appearances. He was named Steelers MVP in 1971.
Wow.
This was before the Steelers ever made the playoffs for the first time. He made 7 Pro Bowl appearances in 1969 and from 1971 through 1976. And this was at a time where the Pro Bowl was not just you get a participation trophy. You had to actually earn your way onto the team. He won Super Bowl rings in Super Bowl 9 and Super Bowl 10. On December 27, 1975, he set the NFL playoff record, returned a touchdown 93 yards in a Three Rivers victory over Baltimore.
It took a minute and 38 seconds.
And they timed him with a sundial.
That was hilarious.
Some have claimed it as the longest football play from scrimmage in time duration. In 2011, the Professional Football Researchers Association named Russell to the PFRA Hall of Very Good Class of 2011.
Wow.
Why Andy Russell is not in the NFL Hall of Fame is a mystery to me, and I understand so many players from those 70s teams are already in the Hall. They're kind of hesitant to put any more in.
There's a prejudice, and I
believe that Andy Russell belonged. Yeah. L.C. Greenwood belonged. What do they call them? Hollywood bags with the gold shoes.
Yeah. Set a trend.
But Andy Russell did a lot for establishing the decade of dominance that the Steelers had in the 70s, and that was a decade that we'll never see the likes of again because, with free agency, you couldn't keep a group of players together on the same team for that period of time. So rest in peace, Andy Russell. And you know what? I hope, at least posthumously, he gets voted in on the Veterans Committee.
Right. Thanks, Chip.
And don't forget, he was a 10-year captain for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Back when sometimes you only had one captain on the team. Not today, where 87 guys are captains. But he was the leader.
They have more people on the field for the coin flip than they have in the huddle.
Maybe if he'd have cried like Drew Pearson, he would have got in that time. They put like 20 people in.
It's a mystery to me that he never made it. Yeah. But that linebacking core, and I think, for us that watched them play, Ham, Lambert, and Russell were just they were something. Lambert brought the nastiness. Jack Ham was the technician.
The steadiness.
Never ever missed a tackle. Never missed a coverage. And Andy Russell was just solid.
Ham was a ball hawk.
And the greatest linebacker in Steeler history, T.J. Watt.
There you go.
All right, thanks, Chip. Paul Coffey's watching.
Really?
Maureen, Nick's mother's watching. Hello, thank you. Bill Neely's watching. Arlene John Pond is watching. Now we're going to go to Nick, VIP Callus time right now.
All right, sports. Let's talk about baseball, right? Because spring training's around. The Penguins are terrible, and we don't know what's going on with the Steelers. So, Ben Cherington said today, I didn't know exactly what I was going to talk about on VIP time, but then Ben Cherington said words, and when he says words, we pay attention.
Whoa.
Especially when it relates to big names.
You heard it here first.
Paul Skeens will remain on the Major League roster for spring training at the moment here, but will be sent down to AAA Indianapolis by spring training's end. Very sad. Not to be unexpected, though. I don't understand what the Pirates do sometimes. And this is one of those things where I'm like, why even... You want to get him reps, that's fine, but why even announce? Like, why break our hearts now? Like, at least from a fan standpoint, like, we could watch more of his games with meetings, hoping that he will make the Major League roster, and then you break our hearts, the week that spring training ends. So why do that? I don't quite understand why. I understand why they're sending him down, and we expected that because he needs a little bit more development. I don't think that spring training is a great indicator either of what he's going to do at the Major League level, but he is roasting hitters. Yes. I'm going to ignore the home run he gave up, but he's roasting hitters. He's throwing in triple digits, and he's exciting. I hope they don't wait around too long for him to develop either. Like, when Ben Cherington says guys need to check boxes, I get very squeamish, and I get very anxious because I don't like the box checking. I mean, it's a fair thing to say, but, like, what other boxes is he going to need to check if he's 3 starts into AAA right over 3 weeks, and he's lighting it up? Bring out to the majors. That's what I'm going to say. Henry Davis is lighting it up right now as a hitter. I mean, he's hitting a bunch of home runs. He's driving in a bunch of runs. They might start him in AAA, even though he's doing really well. That's what all the signs are pointing to right now from what I've been hearing. So, again, if Henry Davis is on a 10-day stretch where he's lighting it up, bring him back up. I guess that's really the opinion. I'm not so worried about the stats and the box checking and all that stuff. I mean, if there's clear indicators that these players are doing well, there's no need to batten them down. And I was also thinking about this as well, about the Super 2 that everybody criticizes the Pirates for and other teams for doing, like holding back players so that they won't get charged for Major League service time. I don't really know anymore what benefit that really gives the Pirates because they're going to lose the players anyway, whether they retain them or not. Like, you need a window of, like, several players that make a unit that can win games. So holding certain players back that could contribute to winning now, I think that the Pirates have run out of time for that. Like, maybe there was some benefit to doing that over the last few years, but, like, that shouldn't really be an excuse anymore either. There's a core right now that the Pirates have where they've invested in Brian Reynolds, Brian Hayes, Mitch Keller. They've got David Bednar at the back end doing well. They've signed a few veterans that I feel like could help them. So there's really no benefit for them anymore to retain and pay attention to that Super 2 deadline to retain minor league players. Like, if Skeens is doing well, if Henry Davis is doing well, if any other young players are at a point where they're getting really hot, give them a chance at the Major League level. No more reserved approach is what I'm going to say. Again, I understand why Paul Skeens will start the year in AAA, but again, if he's lighting it up in his first 2-3 starts, I'm not waiting for June to see him pitch. I don't want to wait for June to see him pitch. I want to see him up toward the end of April, start of May. And again, Henry Davis, it can only take a week. If he's lighting it up for a week or 2 week stretch, like, bring him up in April.
I'd like to so far, and I agree that Skeens should probably start in AAA because in his professional career, he's thrown 6 2/3 innings. He's actually proven nothing. I mean, yes, he can throw the ball 102 miles an hour.
That's proving something.
That's
evidence.
There is a lot more to pitching than throwing the ball at 102 miles an hour.
Did he throw any strikes? Hey, that's
okay.
2 boxes checked.
So yeah, all right. Does he?
Ding, ding, boys. Ding, ding.
He actually developed a new pitch, too, the splinker. It's like a splitter and sinker combination with a little slider.
Right.
He's inventing pitches.
And what got ridden out?
Ding, ding.
What got ridden out?
What do you mean?
What pitch did he throw that got ridden out of the park?
Oh, is it that new pitch?
Oh, I don't know. See?
That's a question for you.
See, I'm just asking because you seem to know all these answers.
Are you saying Major League hitters today are good enough to hit pitches that are hundreds of miles an hour?
You know, I go back to a quote that I can attribute to Greg Maddux. You know, Greg Maddux is Hall of Fame pitcher. He said there's 4 things that you concern yourself with when you're pitching. One of them is command, control, changing speeds, and the least important of all of them is velocity. Wow. Okay? Now that
Are
got
you talking
him.
Greg Maddux?
That is from a guy that never threw a fastball
Greg Maddux.
over 90 miles an hour and won 365 games in
Did
the
I guess
major
it?
leagues.
That's interesting, though, because
Did I guess it?
Nolan Ryan threw harder more consistently and had a longer career.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But did you see what Nolan Ryan's early career was? More batters ran out of the batter's box when he was pitching because they didn't know if the pitch was going to end up across the plate in the right batter's box or the left batter's
Didn't
box.
you just say he had the
Once
greatest
he learned
pitch-
how to pitch,
He
his
tell you when.
fastball became effective.
You said his
he
first.
trapped you.
You said his first year in the majors in 1968, he had the best pitching mechanics you've
No,
ever
he
seen.
does. They did. But he was wild. If you've watched anything about Nolan Ryan, I followed his career. He was wild.
How do you have good pitching mechanics and pitch wildly? That's a mystery.
Well, because you didn't know how to
Practice.
pitch.
Yeah, practice.
Because you didn't know how to pitch. How did you learn how to pitch? By pitching and going through AA, AAA, working your way up into the majors. See, pitching is more than just, and I can't, you and I are always going to butt heads on this, is more than throwing the ball 102 miles an hour.
You know what the awesome thing is, though? We're not even disagreeing. We both said he should start at Triple
No,
A.
but
All right, that's enough. That's enough of
But
this.
at the point is when he's ready to be. Now, to speak to one other point, and you've already convinced yourself that Henry Davis is going to start in AAA, and he may. But I can tell you this: if Henry Davis continues to swing the bat the way he's been swinging the bat, he's going to play his way onto the 25-man roster.
You heard it from Chip. Now you're going to hear it from me. Schemes in June.
I'm
All
serious.
right, that's
Henry
it for
Davis's
next-
bat is going to play
June-
at the major league level,
June-
and I
June
think
for
that,
schemes.
that with Grandal as his mentor, I think Henry Davis could be a great backup catcher, and Jason DeLay could be the odd man out.
You heard it from Chip. Any rebuttal?
I know some stuff.
Okay, you can't talk. We're moving on. Paul Haley
We'll see.
said, ask the BP Historical Society if Andy Russell lived in Bethel Park from 1967 to 1977 in the Rutherford Acres section while he was a Steeler. My mom used to see him at the cleaners where she worked. Anita Barandi's watching. Pete Kasich's watching. Paul Haley came back. I read where the Pirates lead the Grapefruit League that Smokin' Jim doesn't know about in home runs this season.
We did teach you about that. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You remember the difference? What's the other league
I
called?
added that part.
The other one's in California, Cactus.
No, it's in Arizona. But yeah, you're right, Cactus League.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, 10 seconds for On Location. On Location. You know we got March 15th. It's the Donnybrook at the Priory Hotel. They call it North Shore, but it's North Side. It's a few blocks away from PNC Park. Great church was made in the hotel, Priory Hotel. Very opulent, very classy place. The Donnybrook, the Irish guys are coming to fight the Pittsburgh guys. Smokin' Jim and I are going to start with 4 bouts before the fights. There's preliminary bouts, 4 bouts at 5:30. We're going to take Michael Mariano with us to fill in for Nick Callis. He needs a training session the rest of the week, but we'll get him there, and we're looking at having a great time there. Check out the tickets. They're selling fast. They usually sell out. There's not a bad seat in the house. The ring's right in the place where they have weddings and everything else there, so it's great. Great drinks, great food, great location, even parking that's right nearby. So check it out. Then Coliseum Combat Zone, my first MMA event, June 29th. That's at the All-American Fieldhouse in Monroeville,
Yay!
one Racket Lane. Supposedly Smokin' Jim lives there. He didn't invite me for dinner first. He just said, I'll see you there. So we'll see you there. We're looking for 1,000 to 1,500 people to come there. It's going to be a great night of MMA. My guy Ray, who's a consultant for it, he calls it, there's a new way in MMA. So make sure you come out. Wanted to finish this early since we got so much sports to get out of us. We got the 2-minute warning. Anybody sound off right now? Chip, you missed a week. You want to sound off first?
Well, right now the Penguins are up 2-0 last I checked.
We needed to hear that.
Malkin
Smoking
scored.
Jim said they will.
Does that mean anything, though?
Well, no,
Yeah,
because they,
Malkin.
no, because they usually blow it in the third period. Yeah.
Thank you.
If they won games in the first period, they'd be undefeated.
Smoking Jim, who's the center we should get for the Steelers?
Zach Frazier.
He spells it differently.
No, he changed it.
Okay, now I'm just updating you, so thank you, Smoking. Nick Callis, anything you're allowed to tell us that's not inside information or private, proprietary information from the fan?
Henry Davis really doesn't
You're hearing it.
really doesn't look like he's making the major league roster. It's looking that way.
You know what? That's very profound.
I'm not going to say
Chip
anything
has a
definitive.
counterpoint for some unknown reason. He got a counterpoint. What's your real thought in your heart? Should he be up?
I think he should be.
Okay.
And I said that before
No, I know.
several
I
times.
just wanted you to verify what you
No,
think.
I want him to be up. I don't agree with everything the Pirates do.
Well, I mean,
I'm not
Well,
running
we
the
didn't
team
say
though.
you're a yes
yeah.
man.
the
the
simple
Pirates.
fact, if he doesn't make it, it's simply because he hasn't caught enough games in the minors. He spent too much time injured. If you think about the catcher for the Orioles, Richmond is his name.
Richmond.
Yeah, he caught over 350 more innings for the Orioles before he came up than Henry Davis has caught in the minors.
Here, I got an inning thing for you. Said it before, Garrett Cole did 216 innings in the minor leagues before they brought him up. Skeens checked all the boxes off and did 6 innings last year. So, can you say Garrett Cole's not a good pitcher?
No, but Skeens is like
Ready.
Skeens is like a different case, like a very different.
You think he's much better?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got these great quotes. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks to all of you for watching and following us. We appreciate you. And I end each show. Please stay Joey strong.